And welcome back. Right now we have an interview here with Nathan and Kevin Naethros on the Overwatch team. Thank you for coming out. How's it going?
Not too bad, just got finished dominating.
Naturally.
So for those who maybe missed you in the game or aren't aware, what type of role do you play on the team?
So I play main support for UW Sports Overwatch. I've been playing the same role for a while, ever since I started playing for the team. Mostly, like hero-wise, that ends up being Lucio, Brigitte, and Mercy. And I don't stray too far away from those. Sometimes Zenyatta, sometimes Zen.
Okay, so solid support.
Have you always played support when you played Overwatch, or did you start off as like DPS or tank maybe?
When I started playing Overwatch, the hero that I really liked to begin with was Junkrat. But I was in, Silver then, and I played. That was back before Rollock and everything else, and I played like Junkrat, Reinhardt, Mercy, and Lucio, and then I kind of trended towards support as the metas went on. We hit goats, and I found my calling in Lucio and in shot calling, speeding, in and out with the teams, and that's kind of where I really found myself slotting into that support role.
Okay. So you just threw out like a bunch of different characters all across the range. And that's kind of one of the things with Overwatch, since the meta is always changing, you gotta like find new characters and kind of adapt to the meta. So you mentioned that you started off like around Silver, and that's a big jump to going on to like the team with UW Overwatch. So can you talk about like a little about your journey from that's a hard grind from Silver all the way up?
Yeah. So by myself, I made it from Silver to about like high plat 2800-ish, and
wow.
That was when I joined the club team. At that moment, the club team was called the B team, and it was the WGA Overwatch, which is a student organization here. It was the WGA Overwatch B team, and on that team, I stayed a bit, and I started off trying out for off tank, but I ended up playing support, and I got up to Diamond around 3200 there, and that was right around when the GOATS meta hit, and then I started playing Lucio pretty hard. And I always had a lot of fun there. But that team and having the resources from the A team as well, who, some of the players that I play with right now, Alex, Platypus for one, and Isaac Mad Cow Disease, they all gave me VOD reviews and helped me improve myself. And that was like a really big part of my self-improvement, was being on the B team and having the constant scrims and practice, but also having the VOD reviews, the feedback from my teammates, for sure.
So what would you say is the most important thing in VOD review? Because when you talk to a lot of like low reload players, they might say like, oh, I don't have that mechanic wise, I'm not like the best or whatever, and they think that all Overwatch is in mechanics, but it's a more complex game than that. Like, how would you say you improve something like game sense or stuff like that?
Yeah, so when I got VOD reviews from my teammates, or when I've done VOD reviews, because I do a little bit of coaching on the side now, I almost never focus on mechanics. Sometimes it's as simple as like, if you're playing Ana, if you hit that sleep there, you win, right?
Yeah.
But you can't focus on like, oh, you have to hit that sleep there. You have to go into the training range and grind your sleeps for 3 hours, because that's not going to improve. Mechanics is something that improves very slowly over time, so it's not something that you can like specifically focus on and fix instantly, as opposed to positioning, game sense, ultimate usage, like all of these other really core things that affect how you play almost more than mechanics will. Because if you do practice a lot and you're playing, again, you also have to be playing at a low enough sensitivity with high enough frames, and your ping can't be sky high. But if you have all of those settled and satisfied, then it literally only takes practice to improve your mechanics. And VOD reviews, you're focusing on cooldown usage, ultimate usage, positioning are like the top 3 things that I look at.
Yeah, that's a really good way to practice and improve. I think, like you said, just straight aim is kind of over-exaggerated, and it's kind of like a cliche at this point. That's not really how you improve. Maybe in other games, maybe CS:GO, maybe Valorant, but Overwatch is more like a team-based. It's more strategic. So when you went from like a more casual player, just like on your own, like for fun, and then you went on to like a team, so more competitive, what do you think was a big shift in the way you played the game?
In the way that I played the game, I think, I mean, on my teams, when I joined this team to begin with, and when I joined the B team all that time ago, that's like 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago now. My mentality going into those teams, because I was underranked for both of those teams when I got on them, my mentality was like, I need to do everything I can to not be the person that's holding this team back. And so I would be looking to do as many like shot calls and calls as I could, and honestly, a lot of times looking to play decently without feeding as much as possible. And that mentality of like, I'm really bad at this, I'm bad in comparison to my teammates, and I need to get better, was my motivation to get better. So that was kind of like the play style, how I played, and what I was thinking when I was moving into all of that.
Okay. Sorry. And thinking about improving, and you said that you had to, like maybe take those extra shot calling risks or whatever. And how many times? Not how many times, but like, how often do you think you like, oh yeah, I made the wrong call, and you have to look back at that and improve on that, because that's a big part of the game, because you need to know there's so many situations, and how did you go about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's one thing about shot calling that I think holds a lot of people back, is that they're not sure. I mean, I think more people aren't sure what the right thing to do is than they say the call and then mess it up because it ends up being the wrong call. More people just won't calm at all because they don't know what to do, than will calm the wrong thing. So, and honestly, if you calm the wrong thing and you calm it really hard and your whole team does the wrong thing, it still can be better than calming the right thing and nobody doing the right thing, right? A lot of times what matters most is team synergy, and like everybody focusing the same target, doing the same thing, having the same plan. So having the confidence to just shot call and say, no, this is what we're doing, is important. But then VOD reviews and stuff like that, and watching Overwatch League and all of that to help me understand the meta, so I know like what are the good calls to make, what should we be doing here. That was also a really important part of I would say my like growth, was knowing what to do in a given meta. And I think like tracking ultimates and everything, watching Overwatch League in season 2 was part of what made me such a talented support player, because I was really good at dissecting the meta, dissecting how ultimates were used, and then trying to get my team to do the things in a similar fashion.
Okay. So you're a support role in Overwatch, but the UW esports team is more than just like an esports team, because we're connected to a school. And so while you might be grinding in Overwatch all the time, in University of Washington, what are you going for? What's your major or your intended major?
Yeah, I'm a bioresource science and engineering student, which is
Oh,
a
wow.
lot of words, and most people don't know what I mean when I say exactly what it is. But essentially, it's process engineering with a chemical engineering and civil, a little bit of civil, a little bit of industrial core.
Okay.
So what year are you? And where'd you come from? Are you from like the Washington area?
I'm a senior, so I'm set to graduate this June, and I came from Skyline High School, which is in Sammamish. Most people that kind of grew up around the area are familiar with it, but
Yeah. So how do you balance being a player on the team versus like schoolwork and getting all assignments done?
To be honest, especially in online classes, a lot of times I will procrastinate almost everything else until I absolutely have to do it. So that means playing Overwatch, doing scrims whenever I can, as much as possible, and working in other stuff, homework, studying when I can.
Okay.
I've gotten very good at optimizing the amount of time and knowing how much time something will take me, so it doesn't end up being that, I guess, sacrificial to my classes and to everything else. So I would say I've been able to prioritize my time and my spot on the team and practicing and getting better, while at the same time still doing very well, decently well in my classes.
All right. Well, enough with all the school talk. I'm gonna get to the question here. So, out of all of the 6 players on the team right now, like that start, who would win in a 1v1 tournament round robin?
I would say either Stealth Ninja or Platypus. Those two
Why?
guys are cracked.
Just pure mechanics, or just outgun you every time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't practice other roles because I'm really trying to get better at support, and for that reason, I'm not very good at other roles. I would say my DPS and tank are probably like masters-ish, and my support is, on and off top 500 here and there. So my mechanics are okay. My mechanics are decent, but like in terms of like just flexing to other heroes and stuff, I mean, Platypus has got like all the roles. He's got all the skill sets, and Stealth Ninja is just nuts. Former pro Apex player, everything. He's got everything going for him. So is Platypus, I should say.
Hey, Masters on your off is still, I mean, pretty good. That's still really good. When you are like scrimming or playing more casually, you still stay within the support role?
I would say it depends. I only have 2 accounts, and both of them are Grandmaster and support. So if I am playing pretty much anything else, it's more of a casual sense, and it's in lower ranks than I'm used to playing in. And I don't tend to play like off roles unless I'm playing with friends. So I do stray here and there. I do play with friends, and sometimes I'll play DPS, show them what I've got. But I tend, when I'm practicing and when I'm trying to get better, to stick to support.
And to kind of close it off here, what would you say to someone who's like maybe in high school or something, like who's aspiring to be, maybe they are trying to be pro, or like they want to pursue like competitive at a higher level like you are at University of Washington? What advice would you give them?
I would say I've been exactly where you've been. I was, silver when I started playing, and that was in my senior year of high school. I started playing a year late, and all it took for me was surrounding myself with the right people, asking them for help, and dedicating myself to get better. I sincerely believe that everybody's capable of getting better if they put in the right amount of time and practice in a way that helps them learn specifically. So I don't think anything's really limiting you beyond the time that you have to put into the game and how you're practicing and who you're practicing with. So go for it. Going pro, going this hard is something that a lot of people can't afford, and that's okay too. I don't want. The only reason that I've gotten this far is because it hasn't interfered with the rest of my life. So unless it's your actual absolute dream, to go super far, go pro, you have to take a measured response and know, when is it appropriate? Am I sacrificing a bunch of other stuff in my life? If I was doing really poorly in my classes because of my time on the team, I probably wouldn't still be on the team. So there's compromises there and a balance. And I would say, if you're good, if you're really good, go for it. But have a backup for sure.
Yeah, it's all about the balance. Well, thank you. That's a good note, good motivational way to end it. Thank you so much for coming. I know your time is probably busy. You probably have some homework and some training to do.
Oh, yeah.
But thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the interview.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Thank you so much for watching UW Esports. Just come on every Sunday. We got a new game, and see you there. Peace.
You can catch me live at twitch.tv/Naethros.
There's the plug.